You are probably coming to this video from our Costco GOLD video, and if you're not, then maybe that should be the next step on your journey, because an exciting new development is that Costco has also started offering silver bullion in addition to the gold bullion that they have been offering for quite a while now. In recent months, Costco has done something on the order of $100 million in sales in gold bullion. And we just completed the Costco gold bullion video where we talked about Costco offering PAMP and Rand and also Canadian Maple gold bullion products. And I kind of listed the positives and negatives of buying these products from Costco. And that's kind of what the focus of this video is going to be. Costco has recently announced that they are selling silver bullion products as well. If you are new to the channel, my name is White Cross. You can call me White, you can call me Dub C. I pretty much answer to anything, and I want to thank you for spending some time on this channel. If you are one of my returning subscribers, what can I say but thank you guys, as always, for spending more time with me here today. You know it means a lot to me. So, Costco is offering silver bullion. That's a pretty exciting thing. I think in some ways that's even more exciting than Costco offering gold bullion. And what we talked about in the gold bullion video were a couple of things that I thought were really nice that Costco was doing, but also some of the pitfalls that can be associated with buying bullion from a retailer like Costco. And there are lots of pluses and minuses, so I'm going to touch on some of them. If you are considering buying bullion, if you're considering buying gold bullion, I encourage you to watch the gold bullion video, and I'll put a link down below to that video. And if you are considering buying silver bullion, hold on tight. We're going to go through some of the pluses and minuses of buying silver bullion from a retailer like Costco. If you are new to the channel, I like to begin each of my videos with a couple of definitions that we can kind of work back into the subject matter that we're talking about. And those definitions follow after this simple disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not trying to offer any kind of financial advice. I am simply trying to share some of my experience having bought and sold precious metals and rare coins for the last 30 or 40 years. So those definitions that we want to kind of apply to what we're looking at here. The first one is troy ounces. We talked about troy ounces in the gold Costco video. We talk about troy ounces quite a bit on this channel. Troy is the unit of measure that precious metals are weighed in. It's kind of a strange, archaic system that goes back several hundred years. We think probably to medieval France. But the difference between the ounces that you might be used to, whether it's measuring salt or flour in the kitchen or chocolate, or if you talk about the weight of a baby being 9 pounds, 8 ounces, those ounces that we use most commonly in the United States are something called avoirdupois or avoirdupois ounces. We don't usually call them avoirdupois because we're so used to just calling them ounces that we drop off that beginning word. In some cases, you might not even realize that that's the unit of measure that you're using. Troy ounces work kind of the same way as avoirdupois, but they are slightly heavier. So in terms of grams, which is another scale, a weight system that precious metals and lots of other things are weighed in, a troy ounce weighs 31.103 grams, and the avoirdupois that you're probably more commonly used to, 28.349 grams. So you can see that the troy ounces are actually a little bit heavier compared to the avoirdupois that you might be used to. And that is a significant factor to understand if you're talking about precious metals. The other one I wanted to talk about, the other definition that I wanted to talk about that we can kind of work back into the subject that we're talking about here today, is a group of initials, NCLT, and that stands for non-circulating legal tender. And that's something we're definitely going to be talking about in this video. And this is important. A non-circulating legal tender item is a theoretically legal tender coin, at least that's what we're talking about here, but they're not ever really spent because the value of them, whether it's just their collectible value or the precious metals value if they're made of precious metals, greatly exceeds the face value that is on the coin. So we'll talk about NCLT a little bit later in this video. And I've specifically designed this video for you folks who might not be quite as familiar with precious metals as some of my usual stackers or consumers or subscribers to this channel. The fact that silver and gold are kind of going mainstream, being offered through an outlet like Costco, means that there are lots of people that are encountering these bullion items for the first time, and some of the information about them can be a little bit overwhelming. So this video is going to be a little bit more steered towards you folks who have not as much familiarity with these precious metals as maybe some of my usual subscribers. Lots of videos on this channel that talk about gold from a very entry-level position. There are lots of videos on this channel that talk about silver from a very entry-level position. And I encourage you to scroll through it and see if there are any other subjects that you might be interested in. Much of the videos on this channel are kind of geared towards people who are beginning their journey into precious metals, although we do have quite a few advanced topics as well. So what are we going to talk about here? Costco silver. How exciting is that? A really interesting development. We're going to talk about some of the positives that come with Costco silver. We're going to talk about some of the negatives, and then I'm going to give you a few of my overall thoughts. I don't usually work my opinion into a situation like this, into a video like this, but I think that I might have a little bit of insight that might kind of help you on your way if this is something that you decide you want to pursue. So Costco offering U.S. Silver Eagles. Those are the only vehicles that I've seen so far in silver offered by Costco. Now, they have opened up other lines in the past. I believe when they first started selling gold, they were only selling Pamp Swiss gold bars. Now they've started offering gold bars and gold coins from other manufacturers. So far, the silver items that I have seen are only United States Silver Eagles. What is a Silver Eagle? This is a Silver Eagle. Now, if that design looks a little bit familiar and you've been around coins before, or you're from a slightly older generation, you might recognize this design. It was the same design that was used on the Walking Liberty half dollar in the 1940s, from about 1916 up until about 1945. So the Walking Liberty half dollar, the design by Adolph Weinman, such an attractive design that the United States meant when they started making a 1 troy ounce pure silver coin back in 1986, they decided to reuse this design. And a lot of people think that this is a really beautiful design. I happen to be one of them. This is an example of a Silver Eagle, United States Silver Eagle. They are 1 troy ounce of pure silver. We talked about troy just a moment ago. So this weighs exactly 1 troy ounce of pure silver. And when you look up the price of silver or gold online, or if it comes in, one of the websites that you visit regularly, you will see that price given in dollars if you're in the United States. And when they show that price, they are almost always talking about per troy ounce. So that's one of the nice things about a coin like the American Silver Eagle. It contains exactly 1 troy ounce of pure silver. When we talk about pure silver, we talk about silver measured in thousandths or very small fractions of a percent. And in this case, the Silver Eagle is made out of 99.9% pure. We call that pure silver. The little tiny itty bitty fraction at the end doesn't really matter. And it would also be considered 0.999 silver. Some people call that 3 nines, but it's 0.999 pure. So this is a Silver Eagle. You can see it says right here, 1 ounce fine silver. Now, again, that ounce is the troy ounce, and that's what precious metals are weighed in, so don't be confused by that. And also, if you saw the back of it, it says $1. This is an example of a non-circulating legal tender coin. No one would ever spend this for $1 unless they were making a mistake or they didn't understand what it was. That dollar figure is there for certain protections, and we'll talk about those a little bit later as well. So the Silver Eagle, 1 troy ounce of silver, first minted in 1986, and they are non-circulating silver coins. So they say $1 on them, but they're not ever really supposed to be spent for $1. The silver value right now, as I am filming this video, is somewhere right about $23 per troy ounce. So you wouldn't spend one of these for $1 when its value in silver is worth well over $20. That's that non-circulating legal tender qualification. These are one of the most popular silver vehicles that has ever been offered, and they are wildly popular not just in the United States of America, but they are also popular overseas. So these are something that are kind of guaranteed. They're assayed for purity, their weight and everything else is guaranteed by the United States government and the Treasury Department. And those qualifications genuinely matter. These are really well thought of silver bullion vehicles around the world, and they have been wildly successful for something on the order of 40 years now, 37 years. Some of the positives of these coins, these silver eagles that you see here before you. Costco, and buying from Costco. Costco is a really well-known quantity. If you are a member of Costco, and you must be a member of Costco to buy these things from Costco, although you can find them from other outlets. Costco is a really well-known quantity. Everybody who knows Costco knows that they are a pretty well-run organization. They are a very respectable business. They have beautiful locations across the country. Their products are really high quality. And the fact that they have chosen American Silver Eagles as the silver vehicles that they are offering speaks very highly, not just of Costco, but of the people that are behind the scenes that are offering these or deciding which pieces to offer. These are very high quality, really, really well-respected silver vehicles. Buying them from Costco, it's a known business. Costco's price is also very, very competitive. As with most things that Costco offers to their consumers, they do a really nice job of holding those prices down. While I'm filming this, Costco is currently offering these Silver Eagles for about $549 per roll. There are 20 Silver Eagles in a roll, and this is what these rolls look like as they come from the United States Mint from the U.S. Treasury Department. So their prices are quite competitive, $27.45. Now, it's important to understand that silver is a globally traded commodity, and the price of silver varies from moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day, week to week. Around the world, silver is traded constantly 24 hours a day, and the price fluctuates a lot. So I am kind of using a $20, $23 kind of illustration of what silver could be, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what silver is trading for on the day that you're watching this. So be very careful with that and understand silver is a commodity that's traded around the globe, and I'm just using these figures for illustration purposes. $27.45 per coin is what they are currently, Costco is currently charging, and that is a pretty competitive price for these Silver Eagles. They are a well-known and very well-respected vehicle, and like I said, this is something that is traded not just in the United States, but all around the world. Silver Eagles are quite popular. They are backed by the United States government for purity and weight, a point that I commented on just a few moments ago. They have been popular since they were released in 1986. They have the benefits afforded to American currency in terms of counterfeiting. Now, you have lots of different options if you want to buy physical silver. You can buy silver bars, or you can buy silver rounds. Those are coin-shaped vehicles that are minted by private companies. You can even buy classic, vintage, obsolete 90% American coinage from essentially the start of our country all the way up and through 1964. Our dimes, our quarters, our half dollars, and even our silver dollars were made of 90% pure silver. So you can use those as another way that you can buy and hold physical silver if that's something you want to pursue. But the nice thing about these Silver Eagles is that they do have that $1 face value on them, that non-circulating legal tender. The key thing there is legal. So these are actually United States currency, technically coinage, but part of the United States currency options. And that means that these are afforded a lot of protections that maybe privately minted silver vehicles don't have. It is not as dangerous for counterfeiters to make a fake silver bar as it probably is for them to make fake silver coins, especially fake United States Treasury silver coins. And that's what the Silver Eagles are. There are also some tax advantages, and I'm not trying to offer financial advice. This gets into a very specific situation, so if this is something you want to pursue, I encourage you to speak with a certified accountant or an attorney who understands how these may or may not benefit you. But really briefly, if you use credit cards to purchase these, sometimes you can get cash back, sometimes you can get rewards, and that can lower your price on these. Careful when using credit for precious metals or anything. Credit can really bite you in the butt if you're not careful. They may also be eligible for retirement savings accounts like IRAs. Again, not trying to offer financial advice. If this is something you want to pursue, speak with a professional who is licensed in these vehicles. And also, they may be tax exempt in many municipalities, including around the United States. Precious metals, especially silver, when it is a legal tender currency like these Silver Eagles, don't have sales tax. Not everywhere, so please be careful if that's something you want to pursue. Make sure that's the case in your municipality. So these are some of the positives about Silver Eagles. Buying them from Costco, they are a known organization. They are a trusted organization. Costco's price is quite competitive. These are very well known and respected silver vehicles. They are backed by the United States government for purity and weight. They have been popular for almost 40 years now and will continue to be popular in the future, barring something outrageous. And they may have some additional benefits afforded to legally counterfeiting or protecting these from being counterfeited. There are counterfeit items out there, including counterfeit gold and silver bullion items, and the laws against counterfeiting Silver Eagles may help make these a little bit less often counterfeited. And then all those tax reasons that I mentioned, but again, please speak with a qualified tax accountant or an attorney if this is something you want to pursue. Are there negatives to buying these Silver Eagles from Costco? Yes, there are. But I have to admit, the negatives that I was able to kind of brainstorm when I was thinking about what I was going to share with you in this video, they don't seem very overwhelming to me. So take what I say very cautiously, but in my opinion, the negatives are really not that extreme, and they include things like, well, in order to buy these from Costco, you have to be a member of Costco. Joining Costco is not especially expensive, but there is an expense and there is a process of becoming a member of Costco. Also, from what I saw from the early sales of these items, they sell out very quickly, so you have to really be on your toes if these are something you want to pursue from Costco. A very important factor, and this is something we talked about in the gold vehicles that are offered by Costco, is that these are not refundable. So unlike a sweatshirt or a pair of socks that you buy at Costco, if they're the wrong size, you can't take these back. Costco will not accept a return on these, and that's because silver is a globally traded commodity. If you buy these, and at the time you buy them, silver is $20 an ounce, and silver drops down to $10 an ounce, why would Costco want to take those back from you? You are making a commitment to buying these at the current market value when you buy them, and you can't return them. And I'll show an image of what I'm talking about here. Also, Costco will not buy these back from you whether or not the price goes up or down. So Costco is not making a two-way market with these. Now, they will sell them to you, but they're not going to buy them back. If you somewhere down the road decide that you'd like to exit owning these, get out of this silver position, you can't just take them to Costco and say, buy these back from you, from me. They have no interest in buying these products back from you. They will sell them to you, but they are not going to buy them back from you. Keep that in mind. There is also no divisibility with these. In the gold video, I talked about dollar cost averaging, and that is simply putting a small amount into whatever it is that you're buying. It could be precious metals, it could be stocks or bonds, or pretty much anything else. Over time, these consistent smaller amounts over time protect you from prices being very high or prices being very low. So there is not as much concern with dollar cost averaging with these vehicles, because your entry level for buying a roll of Silver Eagles, again, right now is about $549. That's not nothing, but it is considerably less than the 1 ounce of gold vehicles that Costco is currently offering that run north of $2,000. So I'm not as concerned about these being a barrier for entry at $549 per roll. It's definitely something to consider, but the divisibility of these is a little bit more tricky. I like the divisibility of rolls of Silver Eagles because, and I use the illustration of an unexpected expense in the gold video for Costco, is that if you suddenly find yourself needing a bunch of money and you've tied up your resources in something like silver or gold, which is not a great idea. I'm a strong fan of having cash reserves on hand so you don't have to sell something like these under pressure in a very pressure-filled environment, like an unexpected emergency. But if you do have an unexpected emergency, you are able to sell as many Silver Eagles as you need to cover the cost of that expense, and you leave the number of Silver Eagles that are still in that roll that you purchased, and you don't have to sell necessarily the entire roll. Now, you do have the option of selling the entire roll if that's something that you need, but the divisibility of having these in 1 ounce increments that are roughly, again, right now as I'm filming, somewhere around $23 per ounce, you can sell the number of Silver Eagles that you need, and you don't necessarily need to sell everything. I like the divisibility of these 1 ounce increments when it comes to silver. But there are other options when it comes to smaller units that are even smaller than 1 troy ounce. And that's why I have these American silver quarters. These are American silver half dollars, and these are American silver dimes. Again, up until 1964 and including 1964, our quarters, our half dollars, and our dimes were 90% pure silver. Again, Eagles 99.9% pure, so they are much more pure than our circulating coinage. But circulating coinage at 90% is considered a standard that a lot of American investors and investors around the world are comfortable with. So you have the option, if you want to buy classic silver coins from the United States of America that have even smaller increments of silver. And that divisibility may help you better depending on how much money you decide ultimately to put into it. Again, a roll at $549, but a roll of silver dimes and a roll of silver quarters considerably less expensive than that. And they still offer you that divisibility of being able to sell those much smaller increments in case you needed to. So that is not quite a negative. Remember, I said that the negatives that I could think of when I was thinking about this were not that extreme, but it is something to consider. Something like 90% classic American coinage, much smaller increments than the 1 full troy ounce American Silver Eagles. So overall, those are the only negatives that I can think of. The only other negative is still not really a true negative, and that is when Costco is selling these. At this point, they seem to only offer full rolls. And again, a roll is 20 pieces, so you have to buy at least 20. And my understanding is that they have a limit of 2 for these rolls of American Silver Eagles. So you can buy as few as 20 or as many as 40 if they are available. That could change at the drop of a hat. We don't know what their intentions are in the future. But that doesn't mean that it means that you can't just buy 1 American Silver Eagle or 5 or 8. You have to buy that entire roll. So you're committing yourself to that price somewhere around $550 as I'm filming here today. And that can be a roadblock to some people who don't quite have as much money as it takes to buy an entire roll of American Silver Eagles. So some additional thoughts that I wanted to share with you as we wrap this up Overall, I think these are a really nice choice. I think Costco really chose a great silver vehicle to be offering it to its customers. I can't think of another vehicle that I would rather see Costco offering. I'm excited to see if they decide to go into Canadian maples. Canada also makes a silver vehicle that would complement the gold silver, or the gold vehicles that they're offering in the form of the gold Canadian maple leaf. So that would be interesting to see. I think that this is a really fine choice. When you get one of these, if you were to buy one, it looks like that Costco is offering these in the original U.S. Treasury, U.S. Mint, green-topped tubes, and they typically have a seal on those. The question is it okay to break the seal and open these up? The answer is it kind of depends on what you want to do with them. I am a fan of keeping things sealed in their original cases, but honestly, if you're just going to open up and look at them, there's probably not much risk in doing that. Anytime something original is opened, you risk the possibility of somewhere down the line decreasing its value. I don't really think that's much of a factor here. So if you bought one of these tubes from Costco and you wanted to open up and look at it, you could probably do that without very much risk. Now, when you are holding a coin, it's important to understand that we hold coins from the rims only. We don't hold them across the faces of the coin. That can leave fingerprints, dirt, smudges, oil, and we don't want to do that. So if you're holding these, hold them by the rims like I'm doing here. That would be the appropriate way to hold them. Will they increase in value? These are numismatic items. Numismatic is the term that we use for coin collecting. So there is at least the possibility that these will increase in value over time. It really depends on supply and demand, and it can depend on lots of other factors. Not every coin goes up in value. In fact, probably fewer than half of the coins that are minted will ever go up in value above what their face value is. But there is at least the possibility that these silver eagles will go up in value over and above their silver content. That's numismatic or coin value. No guarantees, never a guarantee, but there is the possibility. Compare that to the gold Pamp Swiss bar or the gold Rand bar that we talked about in the Costco Gold videos. Those have zero chance of going up numismatically because they aren't coins, and there are not really collectors of those pieces. So it's supply and demand, it's consumer demand, it's collector demand, it's attrition, that is the loss of things from a specific year. And you'll note that all of these silver eagles do in fact have a date down here below that you can see. That's one of the ways that we know what year these were minted. Often they will have a mint mark also that tells us where they were minted. And that allows for at least the possibility of numismatic increase in value. No guarantees, but at least it's possible. If you split up the roll, if you buy a roll and you want to give them out as gifts, if there's friends and family you want to give them to, I recommend that you use something called a safe flip. Now, this is just a simple plastic envelope that these coins fit into, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. That is how a silver eagle can be packaged individually so that you're not touching it, they're not banging together, and this is a nice way to present them if you're giving them as gifts. I wouldn't recommend just opening up the tube and handing them out because, again, we like to handle these coins by the edges so that we're not getting oil and fingerprints and dirt on them. This is incidentally a classic United States silver dollar. This is when silver coins actually used to circulate. And these are technically smaller than the silver eagles are. And it's nice to see that. If you can see that comparison, the classic silver dollar here on the left is actually smaller and not as pure. These are 90% silver as well as the more modern U.S. silver eagles. Because I suggested putting these individual pieces in safe flips, and you can find plastic flips that aren't of a safe flip nature, without going into too much detail, safe flips don't contain a PVC compound. This is polyvinyl chloride that actually interacts with the surface of the coin and can damage it. Safe flips don't have PVC. So if you're going to use these plastic flips, I highly recommend you get non-PVC flips. Ask your dealer for them. You can find them online. Safe Flip brand is the brand that I use. But that brings me to my last point, my last thought about these. While I do respect Costco quite a bit, I am a member of Costco. I like shopping there, and I think this is a really neat idea, and I'm really glad to see Costco offering these to their customers. The clerk behind the counter at Costco is not going to know anything about these. So if this is something you want to buy and you don't want to put too much thought into it, and you can find them through your local Costco or through Costco online and it makes sense to you, it has to be your own personal decision. I'm a big fan of reminding folks that when you are making these choices, they really need to feel right to you. I don't tell people what to do. I try to arm you with as much knowledge as I can. But that clerk behind the counter at Costco is probably not going to know anything about these. And it's almost certain that that clerk at Costco is not going to have a stack of safe flips to offer you. So if this is something you want to pursue, I do think it's a good idea to visit your local coin shop. They may even have these cheaper than Costco does, or they may have a specific year that you would really like to have to give away, something that means something to you. These are minted annually, and the year changes every single year. So if there's an anniversary or a birth date or some year that has a specific special meaning to you, the chances of being able to find that at your local coin shop are much greater. Your local coin shop will have other vehicles that you can take a look at, including these classic 90% American silver coins, not just the silver eagles. They'll also probably have bars and coins from other countries as well as the United States. And they'll probably have something like the safe flips that you can use. So I am a big fan of supporting your local stores. Go to your local shop. If they've got something that's comparable, they may even have it cheaper than Costco. If they don't, then maybe Costco is the right choice for you. But remember, ultimately, Costco is not going to buy these back from you. So you may wind up needing to go to your local store anyway, if for some reason you need to sell these in the future. And there's a great opportunity for you to meet the person behind the counter at your local shop, pick their brain for information, ask them, especially if you don't have a lot of familiarity with these types of silver vehicles. They are a wealth of knowledge, and usually they will appreciate you stopping by, especially if you buy something from them. So there we go. Costco is offering silver eagles. How exciting is that? If this is something you want to pursue, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've made a purchase. I'd be happy to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would like to invite you to subscribe and be a part of this community. We talk these types of videos and coins and silver and gold. All of these types of things on a physical precious metals journey are subjects that we cover on this channel, and we would love to have you be part of this community. If you have questions about any of the things that I've talked about here today, leave a comment down below, but as always, scroll through the previous comments to see if your question has already been asked. Chances are that if you've got a question, somebody else has that question as well. If you don't see it, leave a question and I'll try to answer it as soon as I can. And as always, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey as you go deeper into the world of coins and physical precious metals.